something that no one has told you, something that you have been feeling but do not dare to admit. Being a good person could be destroying everything you have built, everything you dream of being. But it is not what you believe. It is not about being kind or considerate. It is not about helping others or always saying yes when someone needs something. It is about something much deeper, much darker, something that is beneath the surface, manipulating every decision you make, every sacrifice you make, every time you swallow your own needs to keep the peace. Now, stop for a moment. Think about all the times you have chosen the right path, all the occasions when you have remained silent to avoid conflict, all the nights you have gone to bed knowing you gave more than you received. Think about those times you sacrificed yourself in the hope that someone would notice, that someone would say thank you, that someone would truly say, "I don't know what I would do without you." But they didn't, right? Not as you expected. The curious thing about being good is that it never seems enough. No matter how much you give, there will always be someone who wants more. There will always be someone who, consciously or unconsciously, takes advantage of your kindness. But here is the trick. What no one tells you is that it is not their fault. It is not the fault of others who squeeze you, who use you, who ignore you. It is your fault. Yes, you heard correctly. You allow it because deep down there is something in you that enjoys that feeling of sacrifice, of being the martyr, of being the good person. You have been taught to believe that being good is what gives your life meaning. But it is not so. It is what is destroying your life. And here comes the most brutal part. You have no idea how deep this problem goes because it not only affects how others affect you, it affects how you see yourself. Your identity is so entangled in this need to be good, to be useful, to be necessary, that you do not even know who you are outside of that label. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what you really want? Not what is right, not what will make others happy, not what they expect from you. What do you want? Have you ever allowed yourself to answer that question without feeling guilty? Let me pose something to you. What if everything you believe about yourself is a lie? And what if being good is nothing more than a mask? A defense you created to protect yourself from something you don't even remember? Because let's be honest, no one is born being good. We learn it. We adopt it as a survival strategy, and like every strategy, it has a price you have been paying all your life. Maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe you think, but what's wrong with being good? What's wrong with wanting to help? And there's nothing wrong with that in theory, but in practice, being good has become your cage, a cage you decorate every day with excuses like, "This is who I am. I can't change. It's the right thing to do." But here's the problem. That cage does not protect you. It isolates you. It is slowly killing you and you don't even realize it. Have you wondered why you feel so exhausted all the time? Because despite doing everything possible for others, you still feel that emptiness, that sense that something is missing, that something you can never reach. No matter how hard you try, it is not a coincidence. It is the price of living under the shadow of an identity that does not belong to you. And this is where the most unsettling part begins. What if your kindness is not really kindness? And what if, deep down, everything you do is nothing more than a form of manipulation? I know it sounds harsh, but listen. Every time you help someone, every time you sacrifice your own desires, there is a part of you that expects something in return, even if it is just a minimum recognition, a small validation. You do it not just for them. You do it because, in some way, it makes you feel better about yourself. And when you do not get that response, that thank you believe you deserve, You are consumed by frustration. You feel invisible. Does that sound familiar? You are not as good as you think you are. Nobody is. True kindness expects nothing, but yours always does, even if you do not admit it. And that is the reason why it hurts so much when others do not respond as you expect, because it is not about them. It has never been about them. It is about you, about that need to be loved, to be accepted, to prove that you deserve a place in this world. But let me tell you something that no one dares to tell you. You do not need to be good to deserve a place here. You do not need to keep sacrificing yourself to prove your worth, because what you are worth is not in what you do for others, but in what you are. And until you realize this, you will remain trapped in this destructive cycle, giving and giving until there is nothing left of you. But this is only the beginning. Now that you know, now that I have planted this seed in your mind, let us unearth the roots of this problem, because it is not as simple as saying, stop being good. If it were that easy, you would have done it already, right? The real question is, why is it so hard for you to stop being good? What is behind this compulsion to please, to be useful, to put yourself second? Let us explore that, because that is where the key lies. If we do not understand where this need comes from, you will never be able to free yourself from it. Have you realized that most of the time you do not say yes because you really want to help, but because you fear what would happen if you said no? Fear of rejection, fear of being left out, fear of being labeled selfish. But here is the ironic thing. When you always say yes, you lose yourself. You become a secondary character in your own life, an accessory in other people's stories. And the worst part is that you do not even realize you are doing it. Now, think about this. How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you ceded because you believed it was the right thing to do, only to end up feeling empty, exhausted, even resentful? And what happened afterwards? Did someone notice your sacrifice, or did they simply take it for granted? Because here is the brutal truth. When you get used to giving everything, others get used to receiving everything. It is not that they are bad people. It is that you trained them to expect that from you. And then, when you finally try to set boundaries, they look at you as if you were the villain. Does that sound familiar? But here's the most important part. It is not their fault, and at the same time, it is not your fault. This is not about blame. It is about patterns you learned since you were little, perhaps even without realizing it. Maybe you grew up in an environment where being good was the only way to feel accepted. Maybe you were taught that your worth was in what you could offer, not in who you really were. And those lessons stayed with you, shaping every decision you make, every relationship you build. Let me tell you something you might not have considered. Being good is not the same as being integral. Kindness without integrity is not kindness. It is self-abandonment. True kindness begins with you, because if you cannot be good to yourself, if you cannot respect your own boundaries, your own needs, then everything you give to others is not kindness. It is a form of self-abandonment, and that does not help anyone. So here's the challenge. Learn to be selfish. Yes, selfish. Not in the sense of stepping on others to get what you want, but in the sense of prioritizing, of taking care of yourself first, of making sure you are full before trying to fill others, because a dry well gives no water to anyone. And you know what? It is okay. It is okay to say no. It is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to disappoint others if that means being true to yourself. But do not be mistaken. This will not be easy. There will be resistance from others, of course, because they are not used to you saying enough. But there will also be resistance within you, that little voice that will tell you that you are being selfish, that you are failing, that you're not a good person. But here's the trick. That voice is not yours. It is the echo of all the expectations that have been imposed on you over the years. And you can ignore it. You can choose something different. Now, I want us to do something. I want you to leave in the comments a phrase that summarizes how you feel right now, something that expresses what has moved you in this video, what you are willing to change. It can be something as simple as, I am going to put myself first, or something as profound as, I stop being the martyr of my own life. Whatever resonates with you, write it down, because that act of writing it down, of declaring it, is the first step toward change. And of course, if this video has resonated with you, if something I have said has sparked something in you, subscribe, because here we do not just talk. We face the uncomfortable truths that no one wants to touch. This is a space to grow, to question, to be brutally honest with ourselves. So, if you are ready for that journey, welcome. This is just the beginning. And remember, being good does not have to mean destroying yourself. You can be good and at the same time be strong, be free, be yourself. But that starts here. Now, are you ready to take that step?